quickest update ever. Here's the cuckoo melons across the trellis. The squash has finally started to put on flowers. These other two melons haven't quite yet. Dug up all those potatoes. There wasn't very many, so I don't think they're mounding. So I replanted some other ones down below. Those still green, haven't harvested them yet. Everything over here, the oregano is going to seed. The parsley is going to seed. The strawberries are still producing, and the chives are well into going to seed. Almost everything is dead in here. Probably. The blackberries are coming along. There's so many little tiny green berries on here. Pretty sure we're going to get a lot of them in July. Over here, I think there's the delphiniums are still properly producing. The tallest of the tomatoes is reaching the top of the trellis. The lettuces are starting to bolt and go to seed. I believe I'm overwatering those peppers by how yellow they're turning at the bottom, so I'm going to water them less. The tomatoes are coming along all over the place, including in the determinate, not the indeterminates. Over here, the parsley is going to seed, and the kale is still hanging on. Everything else is looking pretty good. The squash bed is exploding. All the volunteers are coming along, and there's lots of squash on the first pick and pick, but the other one is also starting to pick up speed. I have put in seeds to succession sow those, and started to tie up things long enough to start reaching the trellis. The grapes are going great. The corn, I have not noticed any new ears on the very tall ones yet, except for one, so maybe they're starting to finally come along after weeks of just having the stamens out. Over here, the sunflowers are still alive. Cucumbers are chugging along. The honeydew has started to sprout up in certain areas. Cucumbers are chugging along. I need to finish trimming the lavender. This watermelon is still stuck in its baby phase. Everything else around here is looking great. The strawberries are now taller than the fish in there. The little ceramic fish in there. These tomatoes are reaching the next layer of their trellis. The peppers are looking really great. I picked one baby pepper off because it was growing in a weird angle, but everything else is coming along swimmingly, including the beans. I have planted another squash over here and another squash over there in the big bed for a succession. The raspberry plants are so tall, like over 8 feet. The rhubarb is still doing great. These tomatoes over here are chugging along, and that one at least is almost reaching the top of its stake over here. Everything's going great. The tomatoes are getting tall, and I really need to actually put up a actual trellis over here for them. Inside, oh look, these blackberries are going great too. I had to trim so much because they're trying to be over 10 feet tall. I now have to tie up the individual stems that have the tomatoes on them because they are getting too big and are almost breaking their own stems. The marigolds are chugging along. Everything's looking great. The largest tomato over here is well over 4 inches long. I believe it's a fasciated blossom that led to that cat-faced tomato. And very last over here, we have the tallest tomato in the garden is now taller than the additional tall trellis that I put in here for it. And that is the very quick update.